Okay, everyone, welcome in to Pro Football Ireland. Delighted, Michael McQuaid. Delighted to be joined by Michaela Fagan. And Michaela, welcome in after the NFL draft. Good to see you again. Got the Falcons gear on. I can see Michaela because we have got, I want to say, the king of Atlanta media. I know a lot of people call him D-Led. For us, he's the Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The Orlando, welcome in. It's been a very, very interesting few months. Obviously, got to see you again in Phoenix, and man, that time's flew in, hasn't it? How are you doing?
Hey, Mike, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Time has flown by. The off season's fast. We're looking towards the schedule now, and they'll be back out there playing here before soon.
You've hit the nail on the head there. They will be back playing again because it's going so fast this off season. It feels like every day is just going so quickly. And this is an episode, folks, where we are looking at the Falcons. We're going to have a league focus over the next few weeks, and we're looking at the NFC South, looking at the Falcons with the Orlando. And let's just jump straight into it, man. Obviously, that is one hell of a pick at 8 in the draft, going with Robinson, the running back. Just wondering what your original thoughts are on the pick. Were you surprised that they went with a running back, especially with the room that they have at the moment? I know, Patterson, we're not sure if he'll be there, but that's a crowded position now in a good way for Atlanta.
Yeah, no doubt, Mike. I kind of got tipped off early, draft week that the running back was going to probably be the best player on the board. That kind of let out that they wanted to go defense. They're trying to build their pass rush up on the defensive side of the ball, but the pass rushers were gone. Tyree Wilson went 7, and Will Anderson went before him. So the next pass rusher up was Lucas Van Ness from Iowa, and so he was in that pod. But Bijan had a much higher draft grade on him than Lucas Van Ness. They would have been drafting need over the best player available. The only issue there was, would you take Jalen Carter over Bijan Robinson, who probably had a higher grade than Bijan, but Jalen had a lot of issues to deal with, and the Falcons probably didn't want to partake in those the situation that he found himself in. So the running back was a good move, good value pick. Somebody that is going to add to a strength that the team already has, and then they'll have a diversified running game.
Now, the Falcons have a bona fide underdog in Taylor Heinicke, a quarterback. It's an interesting situation, the quarterback room at the Falcons at the moment. Obviously, Heinicke, is from an Atlanta suburb, went to Lawrenceville and started at Collins High School. Just wondering, what are your thoughts? Do you think we'll see a training battle between him and Desmond Ridder?
Yeah, I think they wanted a quality backup quarterback. They told him he's going to be the backup. So it's Ridder's job to lose. So they're going to give him every chance to hold on to the job. But Heinicke has shown that in the last 3 years, he's always found his way onto the field, no matter what team he's been with. He led Washington to a playoff win. So he's a super quality backup who can get you through a couple games if you need him. And he should be able to help Desmond Ridder as he tries to develop and take over as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And then if he falls flat on his face, you got Tyler there to take over and, run the offense for you.
Absolutely. I'm holding out hope, as Michaela said, for some sort of battle in training camp. If the season started today, the Orlando, in terms of top receivers in Atlanta, Drake London, Matt Collins, Scotty Miller in as well, Frank Darby, Bernhardt, and Hodge. Do you think we could potentially see, before training camp starts, we could maybe see a veteran come in to try and sort of round off that wide receiver room, or do you think it's pretty much tied up at this stage?
Yeah, I think, they did pick up Penny Hart from a former Georgia State kid who played in Seattle. He's done, he's played in 39 games, mostly special teams, a lot of special teams tackles. He could be somebody that steps in and makes the squad too. So they're definitely they brought in 3 other receivers that are going to come in for the rookie mini camp. So they didn't draft a receiver, so they're definitely still probably in that market looking to add some depth and some quality at the wide receiver position.
I'd love to hear your opinion on the NFC South division, because, you look at the division at the moment that is going through a lot of change. The Panthers have been looking for their quarterback. They brought in Bryce Young. The Saints are still going through a rebuild. Tampa Bay lost Tom Brady, didn't have a great season last year. So how do you see the division at this point in time in May?
Yeah, right now the Saints have to be the favorite. They have the veteran quarterback and Derek Carr, and they have a pretty good defense. They tried to restock their defense. So I think just established on the fact that they have more established veterans on in key spots, then you make them the off-season favorite right now. Now, Carolina and the Falcons are in the same boat. They made a lot of moves this offseason. They'll be turning it over to new quarterbacks, Bryce Young and Desmond Ridder. Desmond's got a lot of weapons around him. The defense is being totally revamped. They went out and got Calais Campbell, Daniel Alumada, Caden Ellis, Jesse Bates III in free agency. So, when you have so much turnover in your roster, and it's the case in Carolina and Atlanta, it takes time for that to come together. So, nobody's expecting them to go straight to the Super Bowl. They can get over 500 and be competitive and maybe make a playoff run. That should be reasonable for Carolina and Atlanta. And Tampa Bay, because they lost so many players and Tom Brady's gone, they don't really have an answer at quarterback. They don't really have any money to pay a lot of their players because they got to hit the dead cap thing with Tom Brady. They are probably the bottom feeder in the NFC South right now. So I go Saints, Falcons, Panthers together. Whichever quarterback comes on faster will be the winner there. And then you got the Tampa Bay in a pretty clear rebuilding mode.
I'm honestly really intrigued to see how this division goes. I know we're always saying this these days about this division, but you feel like we're going to be sitting first week in January, the Orlando one. If the Falcons are in with a shot, everybody in Atlanta will at least be somewhat happy, I'd say, at this point. But it's there for the taking, and just in one sense. I know that Michaela mentioned about Taylor Heinicke, Desmond Ridder. If we have that assumption that come week 1 of the season, and we will find out, this week in terms of who the Falcons play week 1, what is your sort of expectation for Ridder this season? Obviously he's going into another year in Atlanta. What would be his ceiling that you would like to see this season for him?
Yeah, for him, he, the weapons around him, he's got to figure out how to use them all. They finished 3rd in league and run the ball last year. So, you should be able to run. You should be able to get the ball moving on the ground attack. Teams are going to try to take that away. So when teams try to take your rushing attack away, he's got to make them pay with some play action passes. He's got to get the ball to Kyle Pitts, Drake London, check it down to Bijan Robinson, get Cordarrelle Patterson involved. So, but it's not going to be a 40 pass a game type of deal. They're going to be built on running the football, and then he's got to, when it's time to pass, he's got to throw the ball accurately and get it to his weapon. So he showed a little bit of that last year. The first game wasn't so good, but then he got better in each of the 4 starts. So he's got to build on that as they move forward with him at quarterback.
Now, when you're building a team, and especially for Atlanta, they want to be they want to be in the playoff contention. So it's always good to keep adding to positions. We've talked about the veteran wide receivers, and you reported earlier that they brought in Trey Flowers. Is there any other position that you think the Falcons can upgrade on, maybe perhaps left guard, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, left guard is they drafted the young man from Canada and Syracuse, Matthew Bergeron, and they really like him. So I don't know if they can get him ready to play as a rookie. they tried to do the same thing with Jalen Mayfield 2 years ago. That didn't work out too well, and he was on IR all of last year. So if it works out, fine, you got a left guard. If not, you got a lot of guys that have been signed to that could get in there, get in the mix, and that's Matthew Hennessy's one, Jalen Mayfield's back, Kyle Hinton from the Vikings, Justin Schaefer, draft pick from last year, and Ryan Newsell, a center guard from a couple of years ago, has been sticking around. So you got some options at left guard if the guy that you've handpicked to take it over can't do it. And you spent a second round pick and a third round pick on a guard, and now one of them has to be able to play for you.
Orlando, a guy whose best years in the league came whenever Arthur Smith obviously was calling plays for him in Tennessee. Jonnu Smith in Atlanta. How excited are you to see Smith just playing for the Falcons in 2023?
Yeah, I think he gives you a quality second option at tight end. Something happened to Pitts. He's been out there before. He's gonna know what to do. Arthur used him very well in the red zone a lot. I think he had 8 touchdowns that 1 year, a couple years ago. That he played so well. New England gave him a whole bunch of money in free agency, but he wasn't as productive with the Patriots. But yeah, I think Jonnu Smith's he can block, he can catch, he can get open in tight spaces. He's definitely an addition to the Falcons' weaponry.
Now, you've touched on how the Falcons drafted Matthew Bergeron. They obviously moved picks to get him. They really wanted to bring him in. So how do you feel he's going to do? What expectations do you have for him this season?
Yeah, he played at Syracuse and supposed to be tough and athletic. The best scenario for him is he takes over and becomes a starter and you got a left guard. Okay, now they didn't have to worry about that position for so long because they had Justin Blaylock, and then they went out and got Andy Levitre from Tennessee. But since Levitre's retired, since 2017, that position has been a revolving door. So if the kid can come in and start, and he played the same kind of outside zone blocking scheme at Syracuse, so it shouldn't be unless he's not stout enough. I think that was one of the issues with Mayfield. But if he can anchor and get low and get after people and is mean and nasty, then that would be the perfect left guard for you there. So that's the ceiling for him. The floor is he doesn't do any good and he gets pushed around and they got to pull him out of there. So we'll see. We'll see in training camp.
Yes, sir. And before we know it, we'll have OTAs and you'll be back in training camp. Would love to get over to Georgia as well. Let's just for my penultimate question, let's do a double barrel question. Actually, D-Led, Georgia Tech coming to Ireland next year. It's going to be an interesting situation. I know I bombarded you with a cell phone text message when I heard the news. I'm not sure if you know we're maybe planning coming over next year. We've obviously got David Shanahan, who plays for Georgia Tech, who's from Kerry in Ireland, who is he's very, very excited. And then secondly, for me, we're sitting here in May. What do you think is going to happen for the Falcons generally this season as we go into another year in the NFC South?
Yeah, I'll probably won't make the trip, but our new beat writer will probably be coming over. Ken Segura's been covering Georgia Tech for a long, so I'm pretty sure he'll make the trip also. So we'll have some good coverage over there. So really excited. The program is excited about the trip, and they had a good experience last time, so they want to go back. As far as what's going to happen with the Falcons, everything is, pending on, they don't have a bunch of injuries and so forth, but they look like they've gathered an exciting crew of players to put out on the field that should be able to win some games. And, I just want to see the defense and see what, Jesse Bates, and you just want to see it all come together. So it looks like they have the ingredients to have a winning team and possibly a playoff team. But now you got to see it. You got to see them knock some people out, get to the quarterback, see Bijan run for a lot of yards, see Ridder complete his passes. So yeah, they got issues, but they got some people in place now, handpicked by the new administration to be either they're going to turn the Falcons around, turn them back into a championship team, or the alternative is it doesn't work out.
Now, of course, myself and Michael and hundreds of thousands of people in Europe are huge NFL fans, and we've seen teams come from across the pond. The Jaguars play in London every year. The Falcons have played in London before. We've seen NFL teams put their stamp on the markets, Kansas City Chiefs in Germany. Do you have any news, or do you know if the Falcons are open to potentially playing a game in either Germany or London or in Europe in the future?
Yeah, they I don't think they're up for this cycle. But I did see that Chiefs might be going to Germany. We've been seeing some of those reports. They might be going. The Panthers could be coming with Bryce Young in the next year or two. But yeah, that's where the cycle's at. The Falcons enjoy their trips. They don't like giving up a home game. But the next time they could go could be as a visiting team for somebody else. So we're always looking when the schedule comes out to see what those Europe trips look like, and the teams are starting to warm up to them, and they like coming over there and playing. But games that matter, real games, not exhibition games and so forth. So that league is trying to expand its footprint. But yeah, I know the Falcons enjoy their trips over there, and would like to come back as soon as they could.
I'm just going to re-check one final question, and we will end here, Orlando. Appreciate your time, man. Just what Michaela said, and just on your excellent answer, the Falcons are one of some NFL teams in the league that don't currently, at the time of recording, have a footprint with the international home marketing agreement in any country outside the United States. It would, I guess, be interesting to see if they do that over the next few years. We expect a new cycle of teams and countries. For example, a lot of teams have a footprint in Mexico for marketing. So I'm sure the next time that you speak to Mr. Blank, you can definitely try and get Ireland or even the UK on that list at some point.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they are definitely trying to expand their brand, and Ireland and the UK would definitely fit the bill for both of those. As the Falcons try to, they got to get people back into their own stadium, in the Mercedes-Benz, and fill that thing out. And then once you start winning, you can, start looking at building your brands locally, nationally, globally, and internationally. And certainly in
Absolutely.
Europe.
Definitely, mate. And it's the AFC's turn this year for international home teams. Maybe, who knows, 2024, we'll see. Maybe see you in Germany or London again, D-Led. Here, thank you so much for coming on, folks. For anyone that is seeing or hearing D Orlando for the first time, at DOrlando AJC on Twitter. D Orlando is a fantastic follow especially for Falcons news during the season, and a great friend of fans internationally and a great pioneer of growing the game internationally. D Orlando, if I'm not talking to you, if we're not speaking to you this side of September, enjoy the off season, enjoy the preseason, and who knows, maybe we'll share a coffee in Vegas to make up for our lateness on this call. Appreciate you, man.
Sure, no problem, Mike and Michaela. Thanks for having me, and you all have a great day.